Good afternoon. The Committee on Parole is reconvening at Dixie Correctional Center. Welcome, Dixie Correctional Institute, Warden Baker.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. O'Shea?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Time is 12:06 p.m. Would the offender please introduce yourself and give your Department of Corrections.
Yeah. How you doing? I'm Christopher Finister, DOC number 562927.
Thank you. My name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Ms. Bonnie Jackson, and to my right is Ms. Pearl White. We will compose a parole panel this afternoon. Good afternoon, Professor Lancaster. How are you?
I'm good, Mr. Roche. I'm here today representing Chris Finister.
Okay. And would you please do us a favor? Warren Baker, we didn't get a list of people present at your facility. Could you fax over a list of individuals that's in support of Mr. Finister? And before that, Mr. Lancaster, would you please introduce his guest and put him into the record?
All right. Now, the list has been faxed, Mr. Roche. My staff is telling me now.
But if you prefer, Mr. Roche, I can also introduce everyone that's here for Christopher today
Yes, please.
briefly. So immediately behind me in the blue is Glenda Huff, Christopher's mother. Beside her is Katrina Cushenberry, his aunt. Next to her is Amber Strong, Mr. Finister's fiance. Immediately behind Ms. Strong is Cameron, Chris's son, 14-year-old son, and beside her is Erica Reed, a family friend. Ms. Strawn and Ms. Cushenberry are prepared to give a statement in support of Christopher at the appropriate time.
Okay. Strong and Christenberry.
Strawn, yes, sir.
And what's the second name?
Katrina Cushenberry. I did say it right. Okay, good.
Thank you. And hopefully by that time I will have the list. Mr. Finister, let me explain the process to you. I will read some information to the record. Once that information is in the record, we'll conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, Warden Baker will give an opportunity to make comments, remarks, or observations. After that, we'll allow Ms. Cushenberry and Ms. Strong to make statements on your behalf. At the very end, before we vote, we will allow you to make a statement on your behalf. And after you make the statement, your attorney, Professor Lancaster, will make the closing statement, and then we will vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Your full name is Christopher J. Finister, DOC number 562927. You're currently 36 years old, and you are a third felony offender. Your offenses are in East Baton Rouge Parish, possession with intent to distribute marijuana, and you were sentenced on September 2017. The second offense is a conspiracy to commit?
Yes, sir.
Second degree murder, East Baton Rouge Parish, and you were sentenced on September 6, 2017, and received a 25-year sentence. Those sentences are running concurrently. Your total sentence is 25 years. Your parole date is, April 6, 2023. Your adjusted good time date is October 11th, 2024. And your full-time date, January 7th, 2042. Is all that information correct?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Ms. Wise. Would you please answer Mrs. Wise's question?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. Are you squeezed in there or are you comfortable? You comfortable between those two guys? I don't know if you.
With them two, but I'm not comfortable.
It
Nervous.
looks like you're kind of squeezed there because we are all in this room to talk about you.
Yes, ma'am.
As comfortable as you can get. And I must say off the top, now I've been doing this, this is my second term. When the children are in the room, the 14-year-old son is in the room. It may change some of the things that I want to talk about because I might not even go into them. But
Yes.
but state for the record how old you are today.
36.
How long you been in jail on this sentence?
I have 6 years and 1 month.
6 years and 1 month in jail. Okay, and
Yes,
I have showed that you have 360 days of programming. And the thing that was good for me is you never lost any good time. And that speaks about, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Call out for me the programs out of that 360. Just call out the name of the 3 programs that meant the most to you.
The STAR program, thanking for a change in parenting.
The STAR program, what you mean STAR program?
Well, I apologize. I didn't get no credit for that. I just enrolled in that. But it's a substance treatment recovery. Something like the Steve Hoyer program.
Okay. Okay,
like
you did STAR.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Carl, the other ones you had, the STAR program that meant the most to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanking for a change in parenting.
Thank you for changing parents. Okay, that's good news. Oh, that's really good news. The records show you have 8 years of education. What have you done since? When at intake is what you had to see. Where are you now?
I had got my GED
When did you get it?
in 2011.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Have you had an opportunity to learn a trade?
No, ma'am. I work for the chaplain department, like mentoring, but as far as a trade, no, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That's what the records show. I wanted to be sure. And I do want to state for the record, as a part of this process, we reach out to the law community to get their opinion about early release. It is because they are part of this process as well. And there is some opposition from law enforcement, and nothing you can do about it. I'm just stating it for the record because everybody's opinion, everybody's input, matters. I just want to state that on the record. I'm showing that you have 4 children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the ages of your 4 children?
15, 14, 1, 6, he'll be 7 on the 25th of this month, and a 4-year-old.
Okay. How many mothers is that?
3.
All righty. Tell me what you did in this crime.
Ma'am.
What are you guilty of doing in this crime? What did you do in your current offense?
I'm guilty for a lot of things. I'm guilty for selling drugs. I've been selling like drugs, committing crimes since I was like 14 years old. And over time, doing it day to day, it became an addiction to me, as well as selling them. It was an addiction and using. So it became like a day-to-day pattern. And as I reflect back on it, I developed a criminal addictive thinking pattern. Like the STAR book, it helped me reflect because we do a lot of reflecting, and it made me think about my past. And my other charge, conspiring to commit murder, I was just as guilty as that. I wasn't an actual shooter or nothing, but I participated by speaking my mind and what I thought about it, which I was wrong because I'm not to decide to harm nobody or to take their life. That's not up to me. And I was very selfish. And I apologize to the victim. I mean, me and him talked. I apologize to him and his family. like I say, I was responsible for both of them. However, the drug dealer, and I'm glad I came here to rehabilitate myself, especially with the STAR program, because it helped me think about my criminal addictive thinking pattern, which been bothering me for the longest. So that's a strong class to me. And I recommend that to anybody because it attack your core beliefs. And at a young age, I had a core belief like selling drugs was the way to go. And it was unhealthy, but I never reflected on that until getting this class. I was messed up in the mind thinking that was it, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
Good. That's so good to hear. So if you were successful today, tell me where would you live and how would you support yourself?
I would love to go to Miro with my youngest child, mother, and support myself. They have a construction company named Ruiz Construction. Well, I have a lot of opportunities, but I prefer to go work with Ruiz Construction because he'll be paying me $125 a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It depends. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's enough money because in here you don't get no money. So it's enough to make sure I can take care of my babies.
So what skills do you have in the construction field?
Painting. I used to mix concrete from time to time. Painting. Yes, ma'am. But yeah, I go work with him to take care of myself.
Okay, yes, okay. It's good to hear. There was some indication of an ICOS to Texas. That's no longer on the table. We were gonna transfer to Texas.
I filled out one because my auntie is very supportive of me too. But my daughter's mother, she been there the whole way. She been in the whole way. Like I haven't want for nothing. And even outside of the daughter I have with her, she take care of my other babies too. You know, so she don't only just take care of the one we have. She support the other one, support me. So I like to give her a good shot as well. You know, try to get in marriage counseling because we're not married, but try to get in marriage counseling so we could work on things that we need so we can have a successful marriage.
I like that. And that says that you've been a Pride member since January 23rd of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever lost the Pride? Have you ever
No, ma'am.
lost it? Okay, good. That's good. And
I'm trying
you
to
participate. Huh?
I'm cutting you off. I say I'm trying to move forward, not backward.
All right, all right. So what do you do every day now in the prison?
Ma'am,
What do you do every day now in the prison? What's your job?
I work for the chaplain's department, Chaplain Payne, and I may walk around and make rounds to the cell blocks and speak to dudes to try to encourage them to do the right thing. Talk to the youth sometimes, go talk to the wild peas because they got the youth offender program. Talk to them and try to encourage them to do the right thing. So
What's the I don't what's that?
the youth offender program.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, good.
Ma'am,
Okay.
Ms. Wise, that's the inmates who have been convicted as an adult, but they're under the age of 18. They're housed here. There's not many of them, but so they're not juvenile crimes. They're convicted as an adult, but they're under the age of 18.
Oh, great. That's great. Yeah, you're able to do that. That's a critical population. But I saw that you were the chaplain's clerk, and I didn't realize that you actually made rounds. When I saw clerk, I thought of paperwork and attendance or something, but I'm glad to hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the records I have show that you, in these 7 years, almost 7 years, you had no write-ups. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank God.
Yes, indeed. Now there was two assessments in the department, and I'm sure your attorney has told you about it because he was a part of creating it. Was we have a needs assessment as well as a risk assessment. And in risk assessment, you come out moderate. There's low, moderate, and high. So you're moderate. But in your needs assessment, you came out high in substance abuse. So tell me, what would be your sobriety plan? How do you plan to stay clean and sober?
Enrolling. If I'm released, I plan to enroll in NAAA and stay focused and remember that I'm in control of my thinking. You know, I don't have to use drugs and try to stay from around people, places, and things that will trigger me to want to drink or use drugs. But my most important thing will be enrolling in NAAA. And I had, when I was in East Baton Rouge Parish, they had a class called Correcting and Thinking, but they changed it to the class called.
Thank you for a change. Was it thank you for a change?
No, ma'am. Correction and Recovery. It was Correction and Recovery in East Baton Rouge Parish, and they changed it to All right, well, yeah, they changed it, and I've been reaching out to them because they try to help you stay focused in all areas of life, like gambling addiction, drug use, to try to, it's like a sponsor, a big brother to you in society, to make sure you don't try to reoffend or do nothing crazy to relapse.
Okay. And how many AA meetings would you attend?
I will tell however many I have to be honest with you. But I think it's like two a
As
week,
far as a private plan, how many you think you would need?
2 to 3 a week, 2 or 3 a week.
And what was your drug of choice?
Marijuana, promethazine, lower tabs. That's my Percocet.
Okay. Yeah, 3 a week, yeah. And I also see that you are eligible for work. Is that something you think you could benefit from before you release?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, because it'll give me the more skills I need to go out there and prepare myself. I want to live. I want to take advantage of every opportunity given to me instead of being stupid and not taking advantage of them.
Good. All right, thank you for answering my questions. And Warren, what you want to tell us?
Hey, good morning, Ms. Wise. Or afternoon, I'm sorry. I guess.
I'm saying morning too.
Let's see. First, you've already noted one of the great things that is no write-ups in his history, since he's been locked up in the 6 years, and that's important. He said, thank God, and I say thank you for not, God too, but also him for not violating. That's always a big deal, So he is a pride member. He's a level 1 trustee. He didn't mention that, but he is a trustee as well. As a chaplain's orderly, he has to go outside the gates and, go to some of our other compounds and help them as well. The STAR program, he touched on that. I know we're all familiar with that. That's a very important program. I think it's very beneficial for sure. The only thing that really, you touched on everything. The only thing that popped up in here was he said he was a painter. He'd been hiding on me. So I didn't know he had them painting skills, and he's been running as a chaplain's clerk. I'd have had him painting. So I'm a little upset about that part. But besides that, he's been doing well.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
I just have a couple of questions, Ms. Minister. This seems to me to be a remarkable. I said your turnaround seems remarkable. What do you attribute this turnaround to? Can you hear me?
What made you turn around? What
Just
what made
my life, and like I was reflecting on my past and thinking about the ripple effect that it don't just affect me. It affect my kids. It affect the victim's family, the community. The whole greater Baton Rouge, to be honest. It affect y'all taxpayers, but my kids as well, because I love them. And sometimes you got to be real with yourself and come to realization. We be stuck in our own criminal addictive thinking pattern, and we be like, I'm going to sell these drugs. I'll do whatever I got to do to take care of my family. But the minute you come ask me, do I want to work at McDonald's or something? I'm going to say I'm straight. But I just said a minute ago, I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to take care of my family. But I ain't take this opportunity, so I'm lying to myself. So I reflect and think about it. I'm like, I'm tripping. I'm really playing myself. And for whoever I'm talking to, I look like he a fool. I was a fool. Because how would I say I'm willing to do whatever to take care of my family, but I'm not? I'm selling drugs. I wasn't doing what it takes to stay out there with them. And I know they need me. They depend on me. So I want to get out there and talk to the youth.
Okay, and just one more question. You said you had a 4-year-old?
Yes, ma'am.
Been in prison for 6 years.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Her mama, she was pregnant and the dad was not around. And I feel as if I wanted to be with this person, then I had to take that responsibility as well.
That's that. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
Thank you. I have a list now. Can we from Ms. Katrina Christianberry? Ms. Christianberry? Ms. Christianberry? You have 3 minutes to make a statement.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to be here to speak on behalf of my nephew. Chris is like a son to me. He lived with me when he was in middle school. And it was during that time where I lived was not a good place for him because of the area. I lived in the Gaudier Lane community. And at that time, where the street I lived on, the guys there, they sold drugs, they stole, and so Chris was around that all the time. And I believe with him, he felt like, well, everybody else doing it, I'm going to do it too. So that's how he kind of got into a criminal activity, just being around people who did it all the time. And at such a young age, he didn't have the maturity to say, you know, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do better. He just followed the crowd. And then when he turned 18, my father, his grandfather passed, and my father had a impact on Chris' life. So he's turning 18, he's a young man, but he still wasn't able to process, you know, grieving and doing the wrong things. He didn't have someone to keep him on the straight and narrow path anymore. But now that Chris has been locked up, at the other institutions that he was locked up, I didn't see a change in Chris. It was like he still didn't take responsibility for what he had done, and he was angry. But since he's been at Dixon Correctional Institute, Chris has really calmed down. He thinks now before he reacts. And I truly believe that through the programs and the courses that Chris has taken at Dixon, I truly believe that he has made a change. I can see it in the way that he talks and the way that he thinks and processes things now. And I believe if he's given the opportunity for parole, when he goes to Miro, he will be in a different environment and have an opportunity to do better things and provide a loving and supporting environment for his children and teach them that he's not a product of his environment. You can reach above that and do great things in life if you apply yourself. And I think Christopher will be able to do that in a different environment. And I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak on his behalf.
Ms. Christianberry. Thank you, Ms. Christianberry.
You're welcome.
Ms. Amber.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You have to excuse me because I talk a lot, so I got notes, you know.
Oh, but you have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. All right, so my name is Amber. I am his daughter's mother, and soon to be wife. When I first met him, he was running the streets tremendously. But since he's been at DCI, I've definitely noticed a change in him when it comes down to like the conversations that we have and whatnot. Like we speak about what he learns in class and stuff, and he takes it and he applies it to, you know, situations that we deal with, as well as, you know, the situations he tells me about that he's dealing with while he is in jail. I think that he thinks rationally. He takes time to think about how his decisions could affect the people that's around him. And, you know, just the different outcomes that can happen with the decisions that he makes. So we talk about, you know, when he comes home, how we plan to break generational curses and build generational wealth. And that's very important to us. I moved to St. Bernard Parish 4 years ago to place my kids in a better environment. And I think that this would be great for him because it's a good community. You know, we have resources and whatnot. He has a job that he can go to make some money and whatnot. It's just a fresh start for him. He can get a fresh start out there. It's closer to his kids versus him going all the way to Texas. And also, I have a stable home, and I'm committed to working with him to meet all of his needs. And We plan to seek family counseling as well as marital counseling through Team Purpose, same people that he wants to reach out to for support with his rehabilitation. Also, I feel like he has demonstrated to me his maturity and his intentional thinking. And if given the opportunity for parole, I'm sure he will demonstrate the same thing for you. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you finish in minutes?
What'd you say?
You finished.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Finister,
Yes, sir.
would you like to make a brief statement before the attorney closes the hearing?
Yes, sir. If granted today, you know, well, if not granted today, I still want to show remorse to the victims in the community. Not just my family, the kids, the youth, because I felt as if I was doing the right thing by helping them, but I really was doing the wrong thing by you seeing me selling drugs and stuff. So that led them to do the wrong thing, which was sell drugs. I feel it was the right way, but it was not, you know. So Lord said the same. If I'm granted, I just don't want to only look out for my family, but I want to get into speaking with the youth and try to help them, mentor them to do the right thing, show them my life so they could. It's not all about selling drugs and committing crime to get ahead. You try to take the fast route, but you set yourself back, you know. So if I was to get a chance to go home, like I said, I don't just want to take care of my family. I want to reach out to them too.
Thank you, sir. Professor Lancaster?
Thank you, Mr. Roche, and I'll be very brief because I think Christopher is really a very good advocate for himself and really demonstrates that he has really changed the way in which he thinks about who he is and what his responsibilities are to others. Just addressing the concern that you raised, Mr. Roche, about the risk assessment and the high needs relating to substance abuse. He does have significant programming while he's been at Dixon that has addressed those issues. He has a plan in place when he's granted to maintain his sobriety. The most important thing about the intentionality of his reentry plan is he's removing himself from Baton Rouge. The people, places, and things that surrounded him at the time he was running around with his friends when he was 14 years old, creating havoc in Gardier. He's not going back there. He has no intention to go back there. And just removing himself from Baton Rouge, a fresh start, a new start, puts him in a position to really commit to that sobriety plan. So with the reasons that were articulated in the hearing today, as well as those reasons and supporting materials submitted in my memorandum that I provided to the committee, I request respectfully that Christopher be granted parole under whatever conditions the committee deems appropriate.
Thank you, Professor Lancaster. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes, we're ready to vote.
Mrs. Y.
Christopher, you prepared long before this day got here. You prepared. I did want to hear from your 14-year-old son, but I don't want to put him on the spot, and chairman may not permit it. But I just want to say that I hope today that you picked up you need to live a successful life today. One thing about life, we can say, I want one of those. No, I don't want one of those. That's what I hope you got from today. And that's the way I was a baby girl in my family. So I had 8 older sisters. Like, yeah, I want that. Yeah, I want that. You can pick and choose, knowing that choices have consequences. Choices,
Yes,
you know.
ma'am.
So I'm just hoping that's what you got from today. My vote is to grant, based on your outstanding institutional record, your warden's comments, give you for not telling them you can pay, you'll get past it. And as a special condition, I want you to follow the recommendations from the STAR program, what they tell you need to do. At least 3 AANA meetings a week. I want you to enroll in general counseling, give it probation and parole, they'll help you. And in that general counseling, you should be able to fold in relationship counseling, so you all can be successful. But that's my vote, and only one vote. Best wishes to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mrs. Jackson.
Mr. Finister, you changed my mind today. just looking at your paper and looking at the length of time you served as compared to your sentence, I don't know that I was prepared to vote for you today, but having spoken to you, listened to you, I think you've come a long way. I think you're equipped. And so my vote today be to grant because of your outstanding prison record and the positive remarks by Warden Bickham and your good transition plan. So my vote is to grant with the same conditions as this.
Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mr. Finister, you have received 2 votes to grant your early release. I too will agree with my colleagues, and I'm going to vote to grant your release. You have received 3 votes to grant your release. The release has been granted under the following conditions. You have a curfew from 9 to 6. You must follow all recommendations of the STAR program. You must attend 3 NAAA meetings a week, and you must enroll in general counseling. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Hey, you can exit my work with you.
Mr. Finister?
Yeah.
Mr. Finister? We decided not to put you in work release because you have a moderate risk assessment and you have a high needs assessment, and most times that will disqualify you for work release.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rose. I still appreciate the freedom.
Thank you.
Y'all have a nice